raise your hand if you've ever had chicken pox. So, Mr. D, the CDC says more than 95% of American adults have had the chicken pox. About 4 million people get the chicken pox every year. So let's be clear, if you've had chicken pox, you can get shingles, and by all accounts, it is absolutely miserable. Lisa Thibou got chicken pox when she was just 5 years old. Had no idea, though, what shingles was until that virus activated in her system just a few months ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Lisa Thibou, and joining the conversation is certified family medicine physician at the Healthy Women Practice here in Metro Atlanta, here to share what we need to know about this virus, shingles. Dr. Barbara Joy Jones, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. I want to dive right into your story. And first, let me just say thank you, because I know this had to be quite an experience. So talking about it is more than a notion. Just tell us about what happened to you just a few months ago.
Just a few months ago. Enjoying a summer break. Just having a really laid back time. One of my friends passed away over the summer, and I went to a Reiki master, which helps with emotions and moving, different things from you. And she said it probably would be good if you would cry, if you would just, feel something.
Yeah.
So I took that weekend to just really get myself together, and it was a really stressful time. And I found myself crying, and only a couple days after, I just start feeling like an uneasy feeling on my back. And I was like, oh, it's just a whelp, or it's just, maybe I brushed up against something. And during that time, I would just let it go by, and then it just start getting more and more painful.
Over the course of days?
Over the course of days. Over just the course of days.
You did the mirror thing, trying to see what was going on. What did you see?
It just looked like a red spot, like a rash.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, maybe the detergent or something that I wash my clothes with. And then over a period of time, it just started to burn and then blister.
I should point out our viewers right now looking at, and this is the scar.
And that's the scar from it.
That's not what it looked like at its peak, right?
No, not
at its peak. What did you feel like? Were you in a lot of pain?
Terrible pain. Terrible pain. But it's something that you just don't discuss. I didn't know that I still had it. I just happened to go to the doctor over the break, over the summer break, and said, okay, I have some weird, going on with my back symptoms, and it's stabbing pain. I can barely sleep. And they're like, oh, you have shingles.
Yeah. So what are shingles? What is the shingles virus? Talk to us about this.
So shingles is basically a virus, the chickenpox virus, or in medicine we call it varicella zoster. So when we're younger, our immune system decreases, or you're stressed out when you're younger than 50, like Lisa here, it can reappear its ugly head. And it basically follows a nerve pathway, and it first feels tingly, sharp, burny, hypersensitive, and then in a little bit it'll come out with a rash, like a red vesicular rash.
Right.
And by vesicular, for layman's terms, is what are we looking for then?
Vesicles, like an uprising with some fluid on the inside.
Okay.
And then it will open up and then crust over.
So it looks like
basically like chicken pox, but basically it follows one side of the body in a line called a dermatome, like a nerve pathway.
Right. And then I know some people, like for Lisa, this was isolated on the back, right? But some people, it's legs, it's arms, it can happen anywhere.
It's called a dermatome. So basically we have different, it can come out on one side. So like it can come out in the eye or the ear, but mostly a lot of times it'll come out on the trunk, someplace right here.
Any particular reason why? That's a more common space?
That's just anecdotally what I've seen the most. It is in a rare condition that I would see it up here. Those people go to the ER. So I see patients as a primary care physician where they usually get it on their trunk and in their body. So what I've seen is it usually does happen on the trunk.
And then is this, Lisa talked about being uncomfortable and then in a matter of days, lots of pain. At what point does it just get, it seems like it's pretty...
Does it ease up?
Yeah.
It took about 4 to 5, 6 weeks.
And you're
for
just
it
in
to be-
constant pain.
it's
Is that
you think that when you're sleeping, that's where you get your rest. It's like, okay, I won't feel anything during that time. You're feeling it as you are sleeping.
pretty consistent with you here with most of your patients?
So usually what I'll hear is that patients do have the burning, the hypersensitivity, that stabbing pain, and then the rash will follow a little bit later. So 1 in 5 people will get something called post-herpetic neuralgia, in which after the rash goes over, it'll crust over, it'll go away, you're no longer communicable, but then the nerve pain, that hypersensitivity and inflammation will continue. 1 in 5 people will get post-herpetic neuralgia where it lasts a longer amount of time.
I want to latch on to post-herpetic neuralgia,
Yes.
which we know then derives from herpes, which makes people go, oh my gosh, you've had herpes, and then turns into, and that's not, I mean, it is, but it's not, right?
Well,
this
herpes,
is not a
yeah.
sexually transmitted.
No.
But you said you felt shame, like you did something wrong for having a rash on your back.
Absolutely. And it's not shame from other people.
Right.
It's more shame that you're giving. For me, it was from myself. It's like, I have what? Like, only people that are in their 70s or 80s have that. I'm not yet 50. So I'm like, I can't get the vaccine. They wouldn't allow me to get the vaccine. So it's just like, okay, how did I end up with this? And how do I get rid of this? Like, I don't want it to ever come back.
And it's not a thing that is, you should be like, oh my gosh, right? Is that coming?
99% of everybody over 50 actually has had the chicken pox, and it's just dormant in the body. So getting older, when the immune system decreases, or when you're younger like you in a super stressful situation, or when the immune system is suppressed, is when it will come out.
And
some people go their entire life and never have shingles.
Never have it. But when they do, there are lots of treatment options. And we're going to talk about that when we return. I want to hear how this was treated for you. Don't go anywhere. Next, Dr. Jones is going to discuss some of those treatment options for shingles. Interesting conversation, huh? We'll be right back.